This is a lot of different glass shapes here. I know that the glassware you use makes a big difference with wine and beer, but does it do the same thing for whiskey? We're gonna find that out right here today on Drinking with Craig and Roger.
After a few shots.
Oh no. Well, my camera died while we recorded this video, so we had to do it again. But what we got of the first one was better, so I left that in, and at a certain point, you're gonna see a definite wardrobe change, and that's why. Enjoy.
Welcome back to Drinking with Craig and Roger. I'm Roger.
And I'm Craig. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a while. I don't think anyone else has one out there that I've seen. We're going to talk about the different types of whiskey glasses, and we are going to try them out and talk about the advantages and disadvantages.
We're going to talk about 8 different types of whiskey glasses, but there are probably hundreds of different glasses that are very close to these. So if they're slightly different, it'll probably have very close to the same quality.
Yeah.
If at the lip of the glass it is narrower than the rest of the glass, it will concentrate the aromas as it comes out. Mm-hmm. If it is the same or even bigger, like this one, the aromas will still be there, but they won't be as concentrated.
We used Early Times Bottled and Bond because I did not want to pour this much of something really expensive, but it's also a pretty dang good bourbon.
We're not going to be able to walk away from this if we drink all this stuff.
We're not drinking it all. All right, I'm putting that out there right now. But yeah, I think this should give us a fairly even experience. It's 100 proof, so it's not crazy intense, but it's also not very subtle.
And it's 4 years old at least.
It's at least 4 years old. It's pretty good stuff. It's good enough for this video, I think. So let's start here with one of the most common that people first encounter, the shot glass.
You walk up to the bartender and say, "Give me a shot of blank," and it's in this.
Yeah, if you're lucky, it's in glass. It might be plastic
or
guys, paper.
Oh, geez. Okay, I hope
yeah,
not.
Wax paper, the medical ones.
So let's just smell it.
Smell it, yeah.
Smells pretty good. But this glass really isn't designed for smelling.
Yeah, it kind of smells
or even
mild.
tasting. You get your shot here, and it goes down.
He did it to it.
And what you really taste is the finish. And
the burn.
That's what, the burn.
You need your chaser.
And then you get out your beer and you push it down. But anyway.
No, or, yeah, you're right. Probably your beer or your soda or whatever. Because it tastes not good once you shoot the whole thing.
I'm going to disagree with you there.
Okay, it might taste good, but it burns and then it's intense and then it's done. And a lot of people don't have a great experience with that. They wince and make the bitter face at the end, you know.
Well, if you get a bad whiskey, okay, I'll agree with all of that. But this is a pretty good whiskey.
Yeah.
And it's a nice, warm feeling down your throat. And there's this very nice finish with the husk of the grain right there. You can taste it. It's really nice.
And it's perfectly good for that. Although any of the others could also be pretty much just as good for that.
If you want to use them that way.
If you're going to drink your whiskey neat like we drink it, not recommended at all.
Well,
not really.
It has the advantage of not being very delicate. You got a stem on it; it'll break much more easily. So.
Well, that's true. It's pretty robust.
Yeah,
so we'll give it that. Now, our second glass here.
This is a double glass.
Double glass, a lowball glass, an old-fashioned glass.
Yeah, they a lot of them masquerade with different names.
They do.
You can't put a double in the little glass here.
Yeah.
So if you want a double, it's going to be in something like this. And that's okay. You notice the lip is bigger than the rest of the glass.
It is.
So it's not concentrating anything.
Mm-hmm. I'm not getting much on the nose here.
Oh, I am. I can smell the cleanness of it.
No, compared to a lot of the others, the nose
no, I'm
is
just saying I can smell the cleanness of it.
Okay, you can smell the clean. It's a clean glass, and this is very robust glass, very thick, heavy.
Won't break very easily.
No, it won't break. I definitely think it tastes better out of this glass. I feel like I'm getting a little more out of this whiskey.
Well, we're getting to taste more of the original whiskey.
I think so.
And boy, I can see it amplified. I can taste it amplified.
Yeah, a
here.
little bit. A little bit.
Yeah.
That wider nose is just allowing more of the aromas to come in. And yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. You know, if you get this in a bar, it's going to be a decent experience. It's going to be a pretty good experience. Let's face it, when you get a whiskey in a bar, you're not going to get much beyond this in terms of a glass. This is about as good as you're going to get.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Most of them, unless you're in a specialty shop, you know. I'm going to say I get a little bit more of the candy bar element, the sweeter notes, things like that. So, then third, and I might need to go get some ice, I guess. This is what they call.
What do you mean you might need to go get it, you know, now?
Yes, sir. Ice is currently in hand, freezing my hand, but before I put it in there, this is what they usually refer to as the rocks glass or a tumbler. This one is branded by the Glenlivet. It must not be terrible for good whiskey.
Well, this is the kind of thing that people used to drink their whiskey out of neat a lot.
Probably this is going to be your best bet in a restaurant. And let's just try it neat first.
You'll get it neat if you ask for it.
Much wider than the doubles glass, as we're going to call it. Still don't get a whole lot on the nose.
But it does allow your nose to get into the glass.
Taste
so you
is
can-
approximately the same as this second glass, I think.
so.
Now, most people, a lot of people like to add ice to their whiskey. I don't think either of us do. I really don't. I don't like what it does. It mutes a lot of the flavors that I like, and personally, I just kind of taste the alcohol more, but a lot of people like it because they have a hard time with the alcohol in whiskey, and it usually kind of mellows it out, and then once the ice sits in there, it waters it down and makes it easy to drink. That's not our preferred way to do it, but hey, that's what the glass is for,
That's what it does.
so let's give it a try. I like the sound of it. I do like the sound of the ice. Another very robust glass.
That little tinkle is a very musical sound.
I already can taste it so much less. I really can. As the temperature comes down, and the lower temperature allows you to taste less, and then it's already starting to water it down. It's just taking away a lot of the elements that I like in whiskey.
Oh, but they're still there.
But
to a lesser degree.
yeah.
And it's fine if this is what you like.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it.
And if you want to put some other little juices in here in addition to this is a nice little
Okay,
glass
yeah,
for-
you can make miniature little cocktails in here, like you add your Coke or whatever.
No, this is not going to do well if you want to put a little umbrella on it and put
Well,
all sorts of, no, it's not.
let's-
This is for a very simple cocktail.
Yes, very simple. I think this glass is fine. I'd be perfectly fine drinking my whiskey out of this, but I definitely am not getting. If I'm getting a nice whiskey, I'm not getting the most out of that whiskey, I don't think, with this glass.
Well, it depends.
But I certainly look like a little bit more
Yeah,
sophisticated.
if you're getting
I
a
feel
35-year-old whiskey, you know, this is not the best place to taste
Not at
it
all.
subtly. So.
Not at all, especially not with ice. But it's already brought it down to where I barely taste the whiskey, which can be appealing for a lot of people.
Especially if you don't like whiskey, but you're trying to drink it in. Yeah,
Yes,
that's a lot.
If you're trying to fake it till you make it, get the rocks glass with some ice in it. Next glass. This is kind of an interesting one. They call this the neat glass.
This looks like a miniature spittoon to me.
It does look like a miniature spittoon. It's a whiskey spittoon. And apparently it's kind of a, supposedly, competition glass. There are competitions that they use this glassware to try to really get to the nuances of. You're supposed to smell it with your nose in the center of the glass, not the edge. The theory is that as it goes up and rolls out, then the alcohol vapors roll out and you're just smelling the actual
Yeah, the
components
The
of the
components
whiskey
are
itself, yeah.
most concentrated right here, and there's some room here, so it makes it easier for you to get it up, and your nose can go in the top of it a little bit.
It holds pretty well. I kind of like the grooves for the thumb and the index finger. Although it's a little odd to hold something so short. from the edge, it's definitely a little muted.
I can, it's pretty,
Right in the
pretty
middle,
there, yeah.
it's pretty good, but not markedly different from the rocks glass.
No. One disadvantage I just noticed is you have to tip it up farther.
It's
to
awkward.
get anything into your mouth.
Yeah, it's awkward to drink from. This is a little, yeah, it's farther than I expected. I actually am really enjoying the flavor. This is the best tasting of the glasses so far to me. I don't think it's great for nosing like this. Like by itself, I'm not getting a lot off the nose, but as I go to drink it, I'm getting a lot on the nose and consequently a lot out of the flavor because so much of our sense of taste is the sense of smell. So
yeah,
I think it's pretty solid actually right now.
It's a pretty good way to smell it as you are drinking it, which combines the two elements. Unlike these other ones here. For instance, the Glencairn glass here.
We're moving on already? Okay.
Yeah, the Glencairn. It's too narrow to put your nose in by any means, but if you wanted to smell it.
Ooh, boy, that smells good.
Yeah.
This is most whiskey drinkers' standard glass these days. Yeah. The Glencairn glass. Yes, it's wow. Yeah, it smells great by itself. Right there, just as far as nosing.
Oh yeah, and then of course
this is the best nose so far.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm getting notes I haven't gotten with any of the other glasses. Kind of like a caramel.
Oh yeah.
Big time vanilla and caramel, things like that. A very rich nose. So I'm already impressed with the Glencairn.
Taste is about the same, to my way of thinking.
I would say so. I'll go back and forth here. Taste might be a little more mild from the Glencairn compared to the Neat, maybe.
I can't compare it to my shot glass anymore.
I actually, well, they're just different. The Neat, it seems very detailed in its flavor. I'm getting a lot of components, which would kind of make sense for judging, I guess. The Glencairn has a great nose, but you don't smell it quite as well when you drink. And I feel like the whiskey is just well balanced out of here, smoother, but yet retaining a lot of the detail of the character of the whiskey, and very enjoyable. And I have to mention, the Glencairn is incredibly robust. I have never broken one. They're short, so they fit in the dishwasher. They're pretty affordable. They're great glasses.
It's a very good drinking experience from this thing.
Is this what you use most of the time at home?
Most of the time. Although, there was a time when I used this one.
That's right. We're kind of going back in time with these last three here, right?
Yeah, this one here, it looks like the Glencairn, but it's got a stem on it. So I guess the thing here is the stem keeps your hand from warming it up. But, you know, on the Glencairn, you do have this fairly nice base, which you can, hold it with and do about the same thing. Maybe not quite the same, but close. At any rate, so theoretically, this will be about the same as the Glencairn, except you can't put as much whiskey in this one.
That's right. It doesn't hold as much, and it's more fragile because of the stem. And the glass itself is thinner. These are very nice glasses. I also happen to have some of these that are branded from the Glenlivet. Very nice nose.
Yep. Does the job.
Very similar tasting to the Glencairn.
Do you suppose
and smelling
that since Glenlivet put their names on a number of different kinds of glasses, they thought their product would taste good out of almost anything?
That's possible. That's a nice it's a nice hypothesis there. Yeah, I mean these basically smell and taste identical out of both of these. I think the Glencairn is just more functional and less fragile.
But if you want to be, a little more sophisticated in high society, and you want to have something that compares to your friends who are drinking their $100 bottles of wine, well, you've got a glass that's sort of with whiskey.
That's
sort
true.
of about the same.
It's very, very refined, I would say. It's far more refined than the shot glass. That's for sure. So, as you move on to another stemmed type glass, very refined, we have the Copita glass. And this one similar, but does not have that bell shape at the bottom with the funnel nose. It's more like a wine glass, like a tiny little wine glass.
And it was promoted by the Balvenie. That's where I got these
okay.
things.
This is very nice.
This is actually before the Glencairn glasses came out. So.
Yeah, definitely earlier. And you can see on the picture on the box will kind of give you a hint as to its age. It looks late 80s, I'd say.
Something like that.
Yeah, it feels very classy and
Oh, it
refined.
smells about the same as the Glencairn.
Yes, it does. It smells very good. Very good. Ooh, got a hint of pineapple in there. Interesting.
Of course, we've been sampling it how many times, so you may be picking up things that you didn't get at first.
It's true.
We might
It's
have to go back
true.
and
Yeah,
sample.
we'll go back. So, for instance, I'm going to go back to this second rocks glass here. It smells dusty. I don't get nearly as much on the nose. And the flavor, I think, is definitely less complex. Boy, it smells great.
Okay.
Yeah, this may be the surprise hit in terms of glasses for me. I really love the smell of this one. These are nice glasses.
You know, you could probably do about the same thing with a champagne flute.
Maybe. The champagne flute, though, like the actual alcohol is so much farther down. Don't you think that would affect the
Well,
smell?
give it a few more seconds to rise to the top, and it'll be about the same.
So, cool little glasses, but I really like the experience. Again, very fragile comparative to a lot of the others. Very nice, but a little dainty.
And now we have something that's shaped like a Christmas ornament without, you know, the top and the hanger on it.
I love these glasses. This is, I like to look at them anyway. This is the Professional Blenders glass, and they are incredibly hard to find. It's super expensive to try and find a legit version of these glasses. This cost me, I think, $10 for both of them through AliExpress. So I had to have it delivered from China. But, you know, for a glass like this, that's pretty good. And boy, it looks fantastic. Swirling around in here, you have all the protection to swirl. It's not coming out of this sucker. It holds a lot, and it's still stemmed and feels kind of nice. But let's see. I think it's kind of like a torpedo, rocketing the smell into your nose.
I'm gonna say, yeah, the smell is.
Whoa, it's overpowering.
It's intense.
It's overpowering. Yeah.
More intense than the other ones.
Yeah.
Even in the Glencairn, which I guess is why it's like it is.
So this glass is really good for older, very delicate, let's say, scotches, like your 20-plus-year-old scotch that might be 84% alcohol. Like, this will really help you get the notes out of that. But you do not want to use this on really strong, intense whiskey because it is too much.
Well, it is called a Professional Blenders glass, and that's because blenders don't taste the whiskey that much. They do it by smell.
Aha.
And this is good for bringing out all the small, different little characteristics of the smell. It is not very good for drinking it or sipping it because it's got all the problems of this one, you know, because you have to bend it way back in order to get anything out of it.
And it definitely makes this whiskey taste a little rough, even though it's not a very, I wouldn't call this a rough whiskey, but it brings out a lot of the negative notes of this whiskey, and other flavors. Yeah. But I file this one under great novelty, nice to look at. Don't recommend spending $150 to get a set, a legit set, unless you are into some really fine old whiskey.
Or you are a professional who is doing blending.
Yeah, if you're a professional, you might want this. But it certainly is fun to handle and to look at.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to say I would go with the Glencairn on almost all instances.
Yeah.
Sturdier than this one with the stem. and it gives you pretty much all the characteristics that you want when you're sampling. A good nose, and it's not that hard to get the whiskey out of the glass.
No. Yeah.
For most practical purposes, I think the Glencairn would be your best choice, unless, of course, you want to put some ice in it. Then you want something where it's easy to drop the ice in, so either this one,
this one
or this one.
I like
would be
this
okay.
one better, yeah.
Yeah, unless, of course, you really don't care about tasting the whiskey at all and you just want to throw it down, then that one's okay for you.
Yeah. If you like what we're doing, definitely throw this video a like and subscribe. We do tons of different content, mostly related to beer and whiskey. So I would love to see you guys again in a future video. And
right.
until then, with our preferred glass, cheers.
Cheers.